Well, hello, everyone. So good to see you. I'm Jeff, Coach Jeff, and I'm coming to you today from New York City. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm really, really excited to be here today. And so much has happened to me, I guess, over the past probably year and a half, I guess. And I wanted to be here today to kind of share that with you, and I'm excited for you that you're here, and excited that you're going on this journey. And I'm just going to say hi to some people that have arrived. Hi, Kathleen, and hi, Darcy, and Bella, and Russ. So thanks for showing up, and thanks for taking this this opportunity to do this for yourselves. I remember when I first decided to take the plunge and do one of this Naked Minds programs, and it was so exciting and scary and all the feels mixed into one. Because just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm one of those people that I think was always trying to fix something. It was always the latest diet, or the latest get healthy, or the latest whatever. And so going into this was kind of one of those things. And so I went into it with all of the excitement and the passion that I always started things off with. But what ended up happening was this program, and I knew this going into it, but I had to really experience it. It was so different. Like it was just so different this time than anything else I had ever done, and not just from a standpoint of like a recovery thing, or quitting drinking, or but just really just the mindset, I think, was what was so different this time. And we'll teach you all about that, and you'll learn more about that, and you may know some of that already, but it is what kind of set the whole thing apart for me, and it is what kind of made this I don't know, this lasting change. Because really, when I look back, when I started my life, I didn't start out, and I don't think any of us start out wanting to numb our lives, or looking for things to self-medicate. But it's what happens, and I grew up in Arizona, and I won't, I think I had as horrible or as good of a childhood as anybody else. I think we all, I think if you're alive, you've certainly suffered trauma. And I don't think that when you have, to compare your trauma to somebody else's trauma isn't really what it's about. I think that, you want to, your pain and what you felt and what you went through is your own, and how you dealt with it is how you dealt with it. And so, when we don't compare ourselves to others, it just makes it easier to then heal from that. And so when I look back, and it's a lot easier to look back now that I've taken a moment to stop drinking, and I've stopped drinking before, and I've stopped doing lots of things before. But this is kind of the first time I think that I've stopped and really thought, like I really was able to think, and that's again one of the differences between before and now. But anyway, back to the story. And so when I look back now, it's I did a lot of stuffing down of my feelings. I did a lot of people pleasing. I did a lot of things in my life where I was trying to either be something I wasn't, or where I definitely chose attachment over authenticity. Um, for me, it wasn't okay to, well, I won't say it wasn't for me, but it was for, those that were around me or that really were raising me. What was not okay was, it was not okay to be who you were. You needed to be who they wanted you to be. It was more about what it looked like from the outside. Don't you share those feelings? Don't you share how you're, what's going on inside? It's all about what it looks like from the outside. And so it's just interesting to kind of look at that now and say, yeah, it's no wonder that I spent years and years and years trying to have this image or this outside look of everything was all together, but inside it was just coming apart. And so, I probably spent the first. So what happened is I went through my teen years miserable. And then the minute I could leave, I did. The minute I could leave, I ran away to New York. And so I've been here ever since. But what's interesting about it is that, I feel like, I got the opportunity to get away from those horrible people that raised me so horribly and treated me so badly. And then all I really did was I took that poor child that had been, raised under those circumstances, and then thought I was running towards my authentic self. I was going to choose my own family now. I was going to be out and proud, and all I really did was took myself with me, and ended up finding myself in a community that, was pretty harsh as well. So all those coping skills that I used as a child just were exacerbated once I got to be a young adult trying to navigate my way through, gay life. And so you can imagine that, a young kid, 18 is when I moved to New York. And that just lent itself to, the drugs, the alcohol, the sex, it just went on and on. And that went on for about 10 years. So then what basically happens from there is I get off of the drugs and all of that, but I never considered alcohol to be the problem. Alcohol was just alcohol, please. I mean, when you're doing, drugs and that was the real problem. Alcohol was never a problem. And that's kind of how I looked at it. Like that, it was never a problem until, fast forward 20 years. And then it's the only problem. It's the biggest problem I had ever had. And again, that's one of those things where it's, we're sold the big lie that, well, I'm not normal because I now don't drink, but everybody else gets to be normal if they do. And I think that was that was the hardest thing for me to let go of. Like I couldn't not be normal. And that's why I kept going back to it. Like I kept saying, no, I'm going to try it again. I knew the outcome. I knew how it was going to turn out, but it was like, I can't not be normal. And so it's why I know it's why I went on for so long. And so it was just so strange to me that I would go on these, it was kind of like these cleanses, and I had not only a problem with alcohol, but also a problem with food. So what I would do is I would, drink heavily, and then I would stop drinking. And then it was like, oh, well, I've stopped drinking, so now I'm going to reward myself with eating. So then I would eat. And then it would be like, oh, you're a disgusting pig. You have to then go on this health cleanse. And so it was just this roller coaster of, beating myself up and then, getting healthy. And then, oh, now I've gotten healthy and I have to reward myself for that. And it was just this really some crazy beliefs and just this very kind of rigid, well, false beliefs and rigid mindset around, I'll be happy as soon as this stuff happens, as soon as these things that I need to be happy in my life appear, or, as soon as I have enough money, or as soon as I have the big house I want, or as soon as I have the right job, or the great boyfriend, or, and then again, it's one of those things like looking back, I've had all those things and none of them ever brought me this happiness that I kept waiting to to um, to appear. I won't say there wasn't moments of happiness, but there was never this sustainable, happiness that I could grasp onto that would make me want to, um, you know, not go back to a life that I was trying to fix, because that was the thing. I was always trying to fix something. And but in my mind, it was like, well, once I fix it, then I can go back to that life that I seem to like, the life that I eat whatever I want, drink whatever I want, do whatever I want. And it was just that roller coaster that was so, I think, so hard and kind of detrimental to my well-being, really. And it's just crazy to think that I've done that for so long. So kind of to wrap this whole thing kind of up, was one of the first things I learned when I found Annie's book. And I will tell you, there are no accidents, but I found her book completely by accident. And I happened to be reading another book trying to lose weight. And that was the obesity code. And somebody was asking about if they thought, and the obesity code happens to be about intermittent fasting. And so if they thought it was okay to drink during their feeding period, and someone said, well, I mean, I guess you could, but if you're trying to fast and you're trying to get healthy, you might want to read this book, and it talks about the effects of alcohol on your system, like from a scientific standpoint. And so so I took note of it, but I didn't just run out and buy it, because at the time I might not have been drinking if I was trying to get healthy. I don't really remember, but I didn't go run out and buy the book. But for whatever reason, I finally did read it. And when I heard the words, it was just like, it was so strange to me that somebody was talking about this topic in a way that I had never heard before. I mean, I had gone to AA before, I had been to rehab, I had been to all sorts, read all sorts of stuff about, quit lit and all of it. And never once had I heard somebody speak the words that I had heard in my head over and over again, that, I'm not broken, but everybody's telling me I am, or I don't have a disease, but they're saying I do. So anyway, so life changing for me. And you'll hear more about my story as we go along in these weeks to come. And I'm really, really, really excited that this is happening. We're getting the opportunity to do this. So I thank you for joining me today, and I hope you all have a great Sunday, and we will see you on June 1st. All right. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye now.